spreadsheet here that's a database, and I have some dates in here. One of the things that I would like to do with this is work with the dates and figure out how past due these accounts are.
Okay.
But I've really struggled with doing calculations with dates. It doesn't really come out right because
Okay.
it sees it as a date. I'm not sure where to start with this.
So if you try to subtract the bill date from your current date, you end up with a date, don't you?
Exactly.
All right. That is because Excel, so it can perform calculations, stores dates as a serial number. So it's a whole number. And the way they determine the number is they start from January 1st, 1900.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they count the number of days. So today's date would be today, how many days we are from January 1st, 1900. Okay? And Excel calculates that. The thing is, when you subtract a date from a date, it gives you whatever date corresponds to that serial number.
Okay,
So we
that
have
makes
to
sense.
tell it to give us a number instead. So we'll do that. But let's look at a few other things. First of all, let me just mention to you, if you're creating a spreadsheet in Excel and you happen to open up in Mac, Mac actually starts counting from January 1st, 1904.
Oh, well, that's inconvenient.
It's a little bit of an issue, yeah. So you would have to consider that difference
Okay,
in
yeah,
your
that makes
formulas.
sense.
So if you ever open it up in a Mac, be aware that it's 4 years off.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So let's first of all just look at a couple little functions that we have that are available to us. One of the most useful ones is equals today. So if you were just to type into cell I2 equals today, and notice of course today popped up pretty quickly, so you could just double click on today there. And then it starts the parentheses. We actually don't want to put anything in there, so let's just hit enter.
Okay.
And there's today's date. It's September 27th, 2012. Now you'll notice that date appears differently than the dates you have in column A, and it's just formatting.
Sure.
The column A formatting is what we consider European date format. They list the day, then the month, then the year, which is different from what we're accustomed to in the U.S. But those formats are available to you. Do you remember where they are?
Those are under the Home tab,
Let's just go up there and just real quickly look and make sure we remember.
and then we have our number formatting here in the middle.
Right. So you can click on the little drop down arrow in the bottom right corner or go to more number formats here. You have long date and short date there, but if you want to see all of them, you could go to more number formats, and if you go to date, then you'll see several different ones available to you, and that one that says 14 March 01, that is a European date formatting. So let's just cancel out of there. Just wanted to make sure people saw where the differences were coming from. So that is equals today. Let's do in cell I3 equals now. It's a little like this one, but it's a little bit different too. And then just go double click on it in the little list that builds.
Okay.
And now you can hit enter. And what do you see that's different?
We have a time on there.
Right. Equals now is literally when we are doing this. Exactly. So today's date and the time.
All right.
So those are the two very useful functions that are built into date and time in Excel that a lot of people use. And we can apply these in so many different ways. Let's just delete those out of the cell right now.
Oops.
And let's go back to cell I2. And let's say this is where you're going to put in the days overdue.
Okay, that'd be great.
So we want to take today's date, and we know we can do equal today. And we're going to put in just an open and a closed parentheses. And from that, we want to subtract the bill date. So we do minus, and where's your bill date?
It is over here in column A.
Right. So click on cell A2 and click your check mark. So we'll just stay on the cell this way up there. And notice you've got a date. Now, do you remember why we have a date?
Well, it has something to do with that serial number.
Right. Notice that date's in 1901. So it looks like they're about a little shy of 2 years overdue here. That's some serious business there for you. But what it's doing is it's taking the number it calculated and converting it to a date. So we have to tell it to convert it to that serial number.
Okay.
It's real easy to do. Hold down your control and your shift key,
Okay.
and we'll press the tilde.
All
And the
right.
tilde, you know, is that wavy S
Oh, yes.
It's over usually to the left of your number keypad at the top of your keyboard. And there's 656 days over here.
Ah. So, based on what you've told me before, if I needed to convert that into months or years, I would simply divide by 12 to get months, or, the number of days in a year in order to get the number of years.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Correct. Okay, there's a couple of other date functions that are useful. So why don't we just come over into let's do cell K2, just kind of move away from the date a little
All right.
bit.
Here?
Yes. Let's say that you wanted to have a column that just told you what month they were billed in.
All right.
And that's all you needed to do. So we have a function called month, equals month, and then inside the parentheses we click on the cell that has the date in it, and it'll return the number month. So let's just type that in there, equals. Okay, and double click on that formula, because as we're typing, of course, we have to double click to select it. It gives us the parentheses, so let's just go click on cell A2. We notice that's December, right?
Yes.
So let's hit enter
All right.
and see what we get. We get a 12. It's the 12th month of the year.
Okay.
Now let's try that in this next cell. So we'll just do a different one down here. You can actually do day, and it'll tell us what the date was. For example, over there it's the 11th. Okay, so let's type equals and day, D-A-Y, and you can select there, and then just go click on the cell where the date is, hit the check mark, and it tells us it's the 11th day of the month.
Yeah.
So this can be useful if you have a long row of data and you want to just pull out the months or pull out the dates. If I wanted to know the day of the week, maybe there's an order date or a shipping date, and I need to find out, well, what day are we shipping on? Maybe it costs more to ship on Saturday, for example. Then there is a weekday function.
Oh,
So let's do that one in this next cell. Equals weekday. And you can just double click when it shows up in the drop down. And click on that cell over there with our date. And click the check mark or hit enter, either way you want to do it. And it says it's a 1. So 1 stands for?
Sunday?
Yes. So if you get a 1, it's a Sunday, a 2 is a Monday, 3 is a Tuesday, and so forth, up to 7 being a Saturday.
Okay.
So those are some functions that are available to you. Of course, now we've just been typing because these are really easy functions to remember. But you might not remember which functions we've been dealing with, and you're like, well, there was something that did this. Where do we have our functions in our ribbon?
The formulas tab.
Right, let's go to the formulas tab.
Where we've been working.
And of course, about halfway across those function options are date and time. So click on there. And there are a lot of ones in there. Notice there's hour and minute, just like we did day and month. There's second and time and so forth. So there are a lot of different functions available to you there. But the most important thing is that you can, like you were asking, calculate the difference between two dates.
That's great.
So if I need to know how many days overdue they are, I can do that. I just got to remember to convert it back to the serial number. And I can do Control-Shift-tilde, or I can just use my general formatting, go back and reformat it to a number in the home ribbon.
That's a great tip. The formulas are very useful, but even if I figured out how to use the formulas, I don't know that I would have been able to convert that date into an actual number, which is what we need to calculate for accounts payable.
That's right.